I think for me, I enjoy bringing people together. That's kind of what it is on the Camp Matrix. We're creating opportunities. We've created a platform to allow everyone to come together. We're all working towards that same purpose. And the managers are coming in from one side where they know what they're looking for. And then you got the service providers coming in from this side and they know what they're looking for. And this is really a great sales tool for service providers. But at the same time, the managers like it because it's not too invasive and they can connect, ask questions. Camp Matrix will never take the place of in-person networking, and we're not trying to. What we're trying to do is reach a larger audience and bring people together within the state of Florida. What we're doing is we're just creating more opportunities in addition to that. So for a service partner out there that maybe they have several industries they're working with, maybe they do commercial, so they're in BOMA, maybe they do the apartment association, and community associations are a third prospect of theirs. So they have three different things, three different organizations they have to be a part of. And your week gets filled really quickly when you're on the road doing all that kind of stuff. So I think being able to give them a space where they can take care of some things really quickly is nice. By being on the Camp Matrix, you're on the social platform, you're creating relationships, you're creating content, you're throwing yourself out there, you're spending an hour, maybe two a week on the Camp Matrix, and you could get a job out of it. And it's $20 a month. There's no other marketing opportunity out there that is that easy. You know, we go in, let's dive in and talk about the different topics. And there's a lot of topics, researching items that I think aren't talked about enough in our industry, and get both perspectives of it. Give your service partner's perspective, and then you have the manager's perspective. And to be able to have like a podcast where we're talking about these types of things, safety in communities. Oh my gosh, that is a huge rabbit hole. We just did this on a podcast and we talked a little bit about it, but I really want to get in deeper to it. It's like training your board members what not to do. And I know manager tries to focus on that, but for a couple of us to get together and talk about it on a podcast, it brings to light a lot of suggestions that maybe you didn't think about. And sometimes our discussions aren't going to just be a service provider or a manager. We'll be bringing in people from the outside who revolve around the communities that are going to help us. I'm really looking forward to getting everybody to do that. I'm excited about that piece of it. In my opinion, podcasts are great for a work environment. So you do a teaching session on a podcast, and as long as you're a good speaker and you're able to present everything to where they can visualize it while you're speaking, your points gets across. You sell yourself on that way. We're doing the podcast and we're doing the recorded sessions on camera. So there's like a space for everybody, and we're just touching different topics as we do it. So hopefully on the podcast, once we start to get in some really deep, like right now we're just kind of baby stepping into the podcast, but once we get into some really deep content, it'll be great for a manager to have playing in the background while they're doing something else at their desk or driving from one location to the next. I mean, I think that's what people have to realize is like, while you're out there running the roads and going from location to location, and the time it took you to do that, this guy's created a podcast and he's put it out there. And not only is it going to stay forever for them to always go back in and listen to, they can listen to it more than once. And it's a lasting content. When it comes to associations, it starts here and then it could take months before something actually comes out of it. But being on the Camp Matrix on a regular basis, you're not going to lose connection with the managers. This is why I switched over to virtual platform. When you join the Camp Matrix as a service provider, there's a 7-day free trial before you're billed for the service. And again, even if you just stayed for a month and you decide to cancel, you can cancel anytime. I'll grab you. You join the Camp Matrix as a service provider. I will chat you up and go, when are we going to schedule an appointment to record? Let's do a meet your service provider recording. You can tell us all about your services. I can ask you some questions about your services. And usually what happens is when we get into that side of it, I start to find more questions that I want to ask. And, an hour turns into 2 hours. And then I'm like, you know what? We need to break this down into pieces and create educational content with it. So an hour recording could turn into a meet your service provider, and then 2 to 3 other pieces of educational content that's posted separately and at different times. So it's constantly getting out there. If you want to explore something like that, let's do it. Let's get together. Let's do it. I love connecting with people virtually, doing these meetings, asking these questions, and then going back and yes, I love editing. I love editing and creating a nice flow of information and then being able to put the product out there. And the great part about a recording is it's forever. And with our service provider promotions, we also put those on our YouTube channel. So you're not just on the Cam Matrix, you're also on the YouTube. You know, I have a lot of service providers that will forget about things because they're focused on sales and they have to do so many sales. And so they're wearing both hats, the marketing, the networking, everything. And so I'll kind of like tap them on the shoulder online and go, we need to create some content. You need to post something. And I think it's good to have somebody that's reminding you that, look, your competitor's posting stuff. Why aren't you? Why not? You're virtual. We all follow the same legal rules when it comes to deed restricted communities. And so a lot of the service partners work a large territory in the state. So it makes sense that if you have a large territory in the state of Florida, this is a huge solution for service providers like that. I know several of them, and I feel bad for them because they're always on the road. So being able to get into something like this is perfect for them because they can go in weekly, do their social media posts, schedule them for the week. And, you know, maybe when they're stopping for lunch or on the road, eating lunch or whatever it is, they can just kind of log on and check to see what's going on. And we have the app that you can download for the site. Well, aside from bringing people together that have never met, which has already happened in our first month, we've had several people come in and meet a bunch of new people, which is really cool. I think my next favorite thing, creating something and people going, this was so needed, because I get that a lot. I think that's the part that the service providers don't see sometimes. When I was working with BMI, I saw that side of it because we had to do some virtual education, and there's more managers that can't get out to these in-person events and network than there are managers that come and go and network at these in-person events. So when you think about it that way from a sales perspective, how do you reach those people? We're going to meet on a space where we all come together for one goal. It's common sense. It makes, so I think that makes me really proud to say that, okay, I got a good one. I got a good idea, but it's my marketing brain. I can't help it. I love to market. You have to be on TikTok. You have to be on Instagram. You have to be on, what is the other one? There's another one. I can't think of the name of it. Some of my audience might be on, not a ton, but some of my audience might be on there. So I need to be on there. From a business perspective, a lot of business owners, especially old school business owners, we're asking ourselves, do we belong on TikTok? Should we be on TikTok? We're selling paint, or we're selling landscaping services, or, asphalt services, or pest control. I mean, it's a different thing, but at the same time, yeah, we're supposed to be on there. And I think Cam Matrix is kind of helping that. Like, Cam Matrix is like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I know how to be on a Facebook group, so I could go to Cam Matrix and feel comfortable, because it's a lot like that. It's just more private, and it's disconnected from your personal world. So you can get on Cam Matrix, kind of have that personal Facebook group feel, but know that it's more private. There's less ads. It's just me. There's not people taking your information and sharing it with anybody. That's something huge that I think it's hard for me to kind of get people to understand. You have to think of Cam Matrix as a door opener, because once they know you and trust you and become comfortable with you, then okay, maybe they'll invite you to their property. I had a service provider call me the other day, and he said, you know what? I was just over at 2 different properties and they know about the Cam Matrix. I said, really? And we were only 3 weeks old. So I thought, it's working. I'm really proud of the Cam Matrix. I've got a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people think it's a great idea. And it's just a matter of getting people used to it. That's the one thing I'm in right now. We're in that phase where people are just starting to get used to it. So I know it's going to be a success. You can't tell me any different. And anybody that knows me know that when I get that way, it's like, I'm going to make it happen. It will happen. It's just going to take some time.